It was toxic, and as soon as people heard a female, you would just be abused. It's just so competitive, and that really like drew me in. That person's got a toxic community. I couldn't think of anything worse. I wish I prioritized it more. I just want to be seen as the player that I am.
All right, I wanted to ask you, what is the best possible dumpling that you can eat?
Wow, there's so many. Okay, the top of my head, xiaolongbao is.
Okay.
Oh, and also gyoza. They're all
Gyoza
good.
like,
it depends.
Gyoza's like peppery, isn't it?
Not necessarily. It's more the style. It's Japanese, and it's usually one side's pan fried and like the other side's steamed. Pork, spring onion, cabbage. It's just tasty little treat.
See, I think pork is the best one. I've had there's the beef ones, there's the chicken ones or whatever, but I think pork is definitely the best one.
If you're having chicken dumplings, then don't have dumplings, in my opinion.
That's like a rookie move. You're gonna try one of each and then you quickly find out.
Yeah. But that's like, if you haven't had xiaolongbao, it's pork as well, and it's very good. It's a soup
I have to check
dumpling.
that out. Yeah, I've never heard that one.
I'll
have to check
full
that
of
out.
soup. It's very good. Very good.
Okay. The reason I asked that because I realized just yesterday that the channel point rewards in your stream dumps was actually for dumplings.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. What does dumps mean? I'll just go with it.
Yeah, it's the same as my other channel point. So nudes, which is noodles.
Noodles, yeah, that's fair.
Send nudes, so, and dumps, Just a fun little twist.
Nice, but have you had that for the whole time you've been streaming, or is that like just something that's happened recently? Because I think you've been streaming for a few years, from what I can see. About a year and a half or so.
Yeah, probably a year and a half, mostly consistent. But no, I think I only brought in the dumps not long ago because we realized you could do gambling on people's channels. So, and we thought of a different like name for it. So probably only had it for like 6 months. I don't know.
Okay.
Not too long. But we obviously have a food theme going on.
Yeah, no.
An Asian food theme.
I definitely thought of starting off chatting about that stuff because it is very engaging as a viewer when you come in and like there's gambling and it sounds bad, but there's gambling, there's people talking about it, there's like controversy and all that kind of thing. It's really engaging. I really enjoy that part.
Yeah, it is good, and that's why I brought it in, and it has kind of gotten out of control, I have to say. Like, one of my viewers is gambling when I'm offline.
Really?
Yes. So I'm not sure what to do about that, but regardless, it gets people involved, which I think, is more welcoming for people who come in. So
yeah,
I think I'll leave it.
No, that's really good. I've realized that you're in Conquer, which is an OCE competitive Warzone community.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word, I can't think of the word. But is that the reason you started streaming, was because you had to show off your games when you were competing, or just because of other reasons?
No, I was streaming before Conquer picked me up. It's
Okay.
kind of, I was, I guess, lazy with my streaming, and I streamed. I actually found people streaming when I was like streaming. I stopped streaming and I started watching them, and I don't know, I guess I just streamed a little bit, and Conquer kind of found me because they wanted to do a female competitive team. So they found me, and they found a couple other girls, Mads and Beck, if you know them. And yeah, so I joined Conquer, and around that time is when I moved to Melbourne and I decided to do this full time. So I guess it kind of like, it's just convenient timing, right? Like I didn't stream because of Conquer, but I guess because I streamed, I got in Conquer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. So you said you started off as you were viewing people, you were watching other people
Yeah.
game, or?
So yeah, I I was streaming, like I said, and I came across people in game, and I noticed like TTV in their name, so I looked them up, and I found them, and I don't know, I really enjoyed being a viewer, and I was in one guy's channel for a long time, and I wasn't streaming at the same time, and eventually when I did stream, a lot of his community came over, and I became affiliate, and I had regulars, and I don't know, it was really good. So I really am glad that I was a viewer for a while, because when I did start streaming, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how Twitch worked. I was just doing it, and I feel like you really need that basis to like be a streamer. You need to be a viewer in some capacity, just to understand it and to know what people want to see and how to interact, and all the little bits and pieces you need to know.
Definitely helps you build like relationships and friendships with people, and they're the people who will end up helping you out with your stream. Hey, your audio's off, or to change this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I owe so much to it was Reno. That was who I was viewing, and his community, and it opened me up to even the competitive world. Like it's just so much just from being a viewer.
I wanted to touch on that. You said you started streaming yourself. I'm guessing that was, well, I can look that up right now. It was Warzone. Were you a competitive player growing up, playing games as a kid and stuff like that, or was it just like Warzone sort of like took off, wages and stuff?
I've always been competitive. Playing Mario Kart with my brother and my dad when I was very young. I've always just had that like have to be better. And I guess because I was pretty good at it, so it just gave me that like hit of like, I can win, and I don't know. So I've always been really competitive, but I've never played for money, not in that capacity. So until Warzone, that was my first time competing like that, and that just changed it all for me.
It's different when money's on the line, huh?
Well, it's like I'm really stingy, so it was like very odd to put money down and potentially win some money back. But just having that competitive, and I think that's the same with Battle Royale. It's just so competitive, and that really like drew me in, and I need it to like stay excited, I guess.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are competitors can't game casually. Like, you can for a little bit, but then after a little bit, like the juices take over. It's not the same. Yeah, you might lose interest, or
Battle Royale did that too. Like, we all used to sit there and play multiplayer on Call of Duty for hours, and I couldn't think of anything worse now. Now that Battle Royale, it's just like that extra bit of like, I don't know, strategy and difficulty.
I've heard people talk about it. It's like a story. Every game's different. You're going to land somewhere. You might find different loot. You're going to run into different people who play differently. So it's always kind of different. Whereas multiplayer, like the same. We used to grind it all the time, but now it's like you might do it to unlock a gun or a skin or something like that, and after that, that's enough.
Yeah. If you're not doing that, you're just playing for the fun of it. Like, it's a different time, very different time. But that said, multiplayer back when we were younger, it was online, and that was amazing. Before that, it's, your solo games, and that's kind of boring. But playing other people, that was really exciting.
Yeah,
that
there's
really
only
got
so
me
much
into playing online.
There's only so much storyline. The story mode of how much you can play before you get bored of it. Playing against the CPU. Yeah. So tell me about some of your best moments on Twitch, because I know you've competed with, well, I found you through competing with Bralik in a few big tournaments, and I thought that was really cool that I was watching a really cracked US player play with a really cracked Australian player that I'd never heard of. I was like, this is awesome. It's like two different countries, and it's like my hometown as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I started competing in NA tournaments. I think it was still in Verdansk, actually. You know, I actually have the worst memory. I remember competing with a few girls in NA tournaments, and then when Caldera came out, I got invited to, there was a big $55,000 tournament that eFuse put on. And I did that with the other Australians. I did it with Chrissy, Mads, and then we got Happy Tatty, I think. And that just kind of opened up that NA world for me. And then they did a lot of co-ed tournaments, which was amazing for girls because it just, we had to play in that, right? And the guys would be stupid not to pick us up. So it didn't take long for them to figure out that, okay, I was probably a good pickup. And I actually happened to go into Brawl Extreme one day. Total random, never been in there before. And his teammate hadn't woken up yet for a tournament. And I was like, well, hey, like, I can play with you. So I jumped in and we played a couple of warm-ups. And he was impressed, but she did end up waking up just in time for the tournament. Okay. But he promised to pick me up for the next, and so he did. So, you know, we had a bit of a run there for a while, me and him playing a few tournaments. We got second in the first 2 tournaments that we did, so not too shabby.
Yeah, it was good. I think you've really got your name out in that community, especially. Like putting on a show like that, and also having... like a good personality, like good vibes to when you're competing with someone. A lot of people can like lose their minds and they become like, super toxic, but it's also good to you can mix up. And I've watched you play like even a few tournaments recently where I haven't really watched a lot of people play tournaments besides a few people, but you not only were playing, but you actually still were like looking over and engaging with what people were talking about in chat, like mid tournament game. It was like insane. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we're not doing very good in that particular map, then I'm going to be more focused. But
it was obviously going well at the time, yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't too stressed, so I know I can still engage with everybody because I know that's what a lot of people come in for, especially when most of my content is pubbing these days. There's not much competitive stuff going on at the moment, so... a lot of my viewers do come in for just the chill aspect to talk to me. So I'll still make sure that I'm engaging whenever I can.
Yeah, of course. It's really interesting how I feel like there's so many different ways you can use a streaming platform, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, whatever, that some people go there and literally will never talk and just are there to watch the game and that's it. Some people don't care about the streamer talking. They're like, just shut up and play. And then some people go there just to interact with everyone in chat and talk to the streamer and things like that.
Definitely. Yeah. So you got to kind of choose which type of streamer you are, I guess. But at the same time, try to be everything. Depends on the circumstance, you know? Competing, don't talk to me. No, I'm kidding. You can talk to me.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I do tell my chat to be quiet sometimes if I'm competing.
Nah, sometimes you got to lock it in. That's fine. But I did notice, I did go through a few socials and the TikToks and the YouTubes and stuff like that. You have been uploading a few shorts and stuff here and there. Do you find that an important part to what you do? Or is that sort of like a secondary thing?
I wish I prioritized it more. That's for sure. I posted TikToks in the past, probably months ago, and then I stopped. I'm really picky with the content. I hated watching people's putting up clip and going, oh, you know, I slammed these guys and they're not even shooting back. And so, and I couldn't watch it. So I was like, I can't put out my own content of me shooting people who aren't shooting me. And I was really critical of that. So I just didn't do anything. Okay. But lately I have been putting out clips because I realize there's obviously a huge audience out there that I can bring to my channel on Twitch by TikTok, YouTube shorts especially. I've noticed they really do blow up. Even Facebook shorts, but not so much. But I definitely am trying to put out more content and be more consistent with it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention the dates that those things were released because there is a few gaps.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to put out like full YouTube videos and everything, but I just, I I'm just, yes, so critical. Like I said, I'm just not happy with a lot of the stuff that I get, so I just don't do it. But I am definitely changing that.
Have you got have
I
you
need
have you
to.
got a plan for Warzone 2 or
No, not really.
no?
I'm kind of keep doing what I'm doing, but obviously as of late, I'm more focused on getting out those clips, at least shorts and TikTok clips, and I am aiming for more YouTube full videos. So nothing crazy is changing. I'm slowly working up to that point.
No, it
And
is.
yeah.
It's a balance, isn't it? Because like, there's a lot of people out there who will say, "I'm a creator," and so they'll put up some Warzone content, and it could be any other game that they're playing, to be honest. But it's sort of like they will plan. I'm going to get a video of this, and they're going to play that all day. Whereas you're like kind of the competitive Warzone player, where it's like that's your main focus, and everything else sort of comes secondary in a way.
Yes. And that's always been my goal. I'm always been the competitive player. Back 6 months ago, there were competitions every day. It was very rare that you'd see me streaming playing just pubs.
Yep.
It was honestly very rare. So that was always my focus, to do competitive play. And as of late, not many competitions going on. I'm doing more of the content stuff. So I'm evolving with, what I've got. And hopefully with Warzone 2, we'll actually have a lot more tournaments going on. So that'll help me as
Yeah.
the competitive player.
No, absolutely. And it's a really good strength that you can, like, you obviously do have a personality when you stream. So it's not just you sitting there playing the game. There's some people who you might go in there and they don't have much to say, but you like I said earlier, you're pretty engaging with everyone and a very friendly face to talk to. But I was going to ask, do you actually do your edits, or do you have a team behind you? Do you have anyone who does the content?
I my partner Sam, he is basically the brains behind the whole operation. I do clip up, and I give him the clips and I'll caption them and whatnot, but he does all the fancy stuff that goes on, and same with my PCs and literally everything. Honestly, I'm very lucky.
Shout out, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I would be lost without him.
Does Sam have a background in any of that, or it's just sort of like he learns and goes?
Yeah. He works in telecommunications, but he also did work in audio visual. So he's also just that type of person that loves to learn and loves technology. So it's honestly a big hobby for him. And he actually made me edit my first YouTube video.
He made you.
Well, I had the idea. This was before I was streaming. I was like, I want to do YouTube videos. And I got a video, and it was actually him playing with me, which he never does. And I was like, I got my boyfriend his first win. And I sat there and I captioned it. And he did help in the end because he couldn't help himself. But it was good. It was really fun. But at least it got him kind of hooked on the editing side, so I could kind of pass that on because it's not really for me.
Yeah, that's fair. It is. There can be a lot that goes into it, and you can go crazy with the amount of detail you do, for sure.
Yeah, and you need creativity as well, which I do lack.
But that's okay. Fair enough.
I'll own that.
Do you have like a goal that you want to reach in terms of? Obviously, you want to win pretty much every competition you go into. Do you have a goal outside of that you want to achieve?
I mean, sure. I think the biggest thing is, especially in OC, it can feel very much like people see you as a girl gamer and they don't see you as on their level. And it has been difficult trying to get, I don't know, try to be in the community as someone that the best players can pick up and we can play together, As bad as that sounds, like, my goal is to not be seen as a female, and I just want to be seen as the player that I am, and I just want the opportunities to come my way for being a competitor.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
A female competitor.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too, because I do know there's a lot of like the co-ed tournaments where it's sort of like it's male female couple, you're coupled off, can be switcheroos, so you might get random teammates. Do you find that helps getting your name out there?
100%. That's how I started. Well, I did normal 2v2s, but then the switcheroos were great because I didn't know anyone in the scene. So that's how I found people to play with, and that's how the people I'm versing, found out about me. So I really do enjoy switcheroos, which I know a lot of people don't, but it's a great way to get yourself out there, because if you are good, people will notice that. You're not going to go unnoticed, and I think I definitely have made a name for myself in NA. Obviously still just as a female, but I'm honestly okay with that, because playing in NA it's very difficult with the ping.
Yeah.
I would do more normal 2v2s if I was playing on the low ping they are, but I'm not, so
It definitely is a handicap.
Yeah. It really is. Trying to fix that, but we'll see. We'll see. That might be way in the future.
Okay, that's something else to look for. All right. But yeah, there is obviously you putting your name out there, and it is, as a viewer, it's very fun to watch someone new that you haven't watched play with your favorite streamer kind of thing. So, like I said, I found you through one of these switcheroos, so it's it's working, and I've noticed how crazy some of the clips you can put out are too. So, but how has it changed over time? Because you said you've been playing Call of Duty for multiplayer for a long time. We used to play as a clan with my friends, and we had a few girls that were like nasty at multiplayer at the time, and there was always some comments like in the pre-game lobbies between games, and it's sort of like the old lobbies used to everyone used to yell at each other between games anyway. But is that getting better for you from how it feels for you, or is it still the same?
Definitely. No, back in the Call of Duty multiplayer days, it was toxic, and as soon as people heard a female, you would just be abused. Warzone, I find, is very, very mature compared to that.
That's saying a lot, though.
It is saying a lot, because obviously there's still a lot of toxicity, but not that much sexism. The most sexism I get is on YouTube, on the YouTube shorts I put out. Yeah, I guess it's just that different audience to even TikTok. I don't get the same hate I do on there, but people just see females and I don't know, they just don't like us.
No, I would have assumed, no offense to TikTok users, I would have assumed TikTok would have been the lower end of the spectrum.
I guess so. But I guess if you're seeing gaming TikToks, then that's going to be your, that's your interest, and you're just going to be more open. I don't know. YouTube has been a cesspool.
Really?
I think also like Nadia and stuff, that's kind of blown it up recently, and that's kind of when I started posting as well. So a lot of my comments are comparing me to her. So there's just a lot of pent up hate for females that are good at the game.
There's a lot of weird frustration when it comes to that side of people who enjoy, I don't know, they get hooked on that Nadia name, and they're watching all the content, and it's just, there's a weird, it's really weird that people get so hooked on that topic.
It really is. And I mean, I don't understand it myself, but hey, it's publicity, right? And it's working for her. So, good on her. She's holding it well.
She's milking it too. She's making the most of it.
Absolutely. She's trolling them back, and it's working for her. So, yep. I can only hope for something like that for me one day.
I mean, that publicity would be cool. Would you find it tough, do you think? Like the comments and stuff you get now, if that was multiplied by like 1 million, do you think that would get tough?
I think it would be annoying. more than it would be upsetting. Just to have it in your chat, you know, if I'm trying to talk to my chat and there's just people being rude, you just block them and move on. But so it doesn't really get to me. I don't really care what people have to say, because no one can agree on anything. That's that's
never
universal. So
do you get many trolls now?
Like me. Occasionally, but like I said, I don't give them the time. We'll just block them and move on. So,
okay.
You know, don't make it an issue if it's not one.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you have any like inspiration or people that you look up to in the scene that you think I want to do things like them, or that you know even bounce ideas off them, ask them for advice, anything like that?
I mean, I suppose so. The people that I watch, the person I watch the most is Bralik, and you know, I'll watch noobs, you know, exact. I watch the competitive players in the scene, and I guess I'm mimicking them as being a competitive player, because that's generally all their content is. Every day is just a new comp. Yeah, and I'll obviously, when there's an update, I'll go to them and see, hey, what gun do I use? But for the most part, I kind of just keep to myself, you know. I'll continue watching them, and maybe I'll see things and I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. I might mimic that. But yeah, for the most part, I kind of kept to myself. I never really had people that I looked up to, I guess. But that's just me.
No, there's a different strength to being that person who quietly goes about their business and then, you know, quietly determined on the sides kind of thing, and it just surprises everyone. I love that. I'd love that kind of story, that kind of respect that you get just when you pop out of nowhere and like it's obvious that this person's been hard at work behind the scenes kind of thing. But how do you find being full-time, balancing, you know, playing video games and being in front of a camera to switching off and, you know, having a life and doing life things?
I would say that I probably have the most responsible schedule for most people.
You do, actually, yeah. I found that.
Yeah. As a nana, I go to bed at 9, you know, I wake up at 7. If, you know, I stream Monday to Friday, I make sure I don't stream on the weekends unless there's a tournament, because I just genuinely love doing it. But I won't push myself to do more than I am capable of, because I'm also very introverted. So streaming, it can be exhausting, you know. I'm talking, I'm very animated, and, you know, afterwards I can just relax. And I prioritize that more than anything, you know. I love traveling, so I will always have a trip booked, something to look forward to. It's just part of keeping me sane, you know. Not that it's that difficult to stream, obviously. I love doing it, but I definitely need my downtime.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know, personally, even being on for like 3-4 hours, it's just when you switch off and it's like, you've had all these lights in your face and you've been up and trying to talk, and then like you need almost like an hour or two after you get off to just relax before you can even go to sleep, or kind of thing. It's
difficult, especially like for myself. If I'm going out with people, I'm not the one that's going to sit there and talk, which is odd as a streamer, and obviously now I'm on a podcast talking about myself. But it's genuinely hard. I'm like, gosh, there's silence that I have to fill, like this is all on me. And if no one in chat's talking, I still have to keep it going, you know. And it's so bizarre to me, but obviously it's working to some degree. So
no, you're doing very well. I mean, that's one of the reasons I started streaming. I'm the same. I'm very quiet. I'm probably the guy who would prefer to be in a group of people so I can slink to the back. But I wanted to start streaming to try and push myself to try and talk more. And, you know, you would think, why would you even do a podcast when you don't even like talking? But this is where we are now. It's just like a way to push yourself. And it's like you said, if you're not talking and you're trying to stream, there's like dead silence there for a couple of minutes if you're not trying to think of something to say. So it's just like constantly trying to improve and talk and find something, you know? Yeah. But yeah, what's something you would tell your, you know, Roadends from 2020 or 2021 about to start streaming? Any advice?
Well, honestly, I would tell 2016 Roadends, because that's when I first streamed. I did all of 3 streams, I think. I would have told her to actually watch Twitch or watch some streamer and basically do what I did. When was this? 2020. Just become part of the community, actually research what you're doing and put out content and just try harder, I suppose.
Try harder. Okay.
I streamed, like I said, like 3 times, and I don't know, it didn't take long, and I was like, this is too hard, and I just didn't understand it, and I gave up. But if I had kept to that, then today would be very different, I think.
2016, is that still Twitch, or was that Justin TV, or?
It was Twitch, yes.
It was still Twitch.
It was Twitch, yeah. Don't ask me how I found Twitch.
Yeah.
I remember researching how to stream on my PlayStation, and that's about it. I don't remember why I wanted to do it, but I wish I tried. I really do.
That's okay. You're doing it now, though.
That's it. Yeah.
And how has Conquer been? Because I'm pretty I'm unfamiliar with how the workings of like an org or clan like that works. How does that come into play with being a competitor and networking and that kind of thing?
Well, when Conquer picked me up, I guess I was still mostly unknown in the community. So when people, saw that I was in Conquer, that it kind of like, it just puts a thing to be like, oh, okay, so that person's in Conquer, so who's this person? It really brought more attention to my name, I guess. And in the past, they used to put on tournaments quite often. Kind of slowed down now with Caldera and OC being what it is, and there's not much of a scene here. But the biggest thing Conquer is, for me, is a community. It's a Discord. We recruit the best players. We play together. We do tournaments together when there are some. And it's putting respect on your name. It's, I guess, the professional way of being a competitor. I don't know if the word is lost on me, but that's what Conquer has been. And it's been great. I am very thankful that they picked me up when they did. It really changed so much for me, and I owe them a lot.
No, that's cool. I think as a fellow Warzone player, I think the worst thing is running into Conquer in OC lobbies all the time, because they're always demons.
Yeah. But you know us.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you got the name out there. There's a reputation for sure.
There is, and I do like that. I like being part of the organization that is known for being the good players. I do really enjoy that. So
no, yeah, that's really cool. And I suppose I'm assuming that you still you keep in touch with the other female OC players that you used to play tournaments with, like Chrissy and all that. That you try and share like a community in that way, like you're all doing the same sort of thing, trying to break into the big NA scene kind of thing.
Yeah, less so now. It used to be Chrissy, myself, and Miss Extra, who would compete in the NA tournaments a lot, but both of them have kind of stepped away from it, which is understandable, because it honestly is very difficult. You have to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. You have to play on high ping. So Chrissy's more focusing on her own content. She plays Rebirth, and she's just focused on that. And Extra, she might move to Canada soon, so she's going to come back into the scene, but in Canada. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, but a lot of the females I used to compete with, a lot of them don't play anymore. So I'm hoping they do come back for Warzone 2
Mm-hmm.
because obviously it's really nice having that female community to game with and compete with. And hopefully OC has more competitions for us to actually participate in.
Yeah. And it is sort of, you guys share more of a unique experience, because I know you touched on the toxicity that you can face as a, you know, not only as a female Warzone player, but as a competitor as well. And it's hard sometimes for other people in the scene to kind of grasp exactly the that sort of hardships that you face in that way.
Yeah.
But how else do you think, what else do you think can be done? What else do you think we can do besides just continuing to give everyone an equal chance to compete?
Honestly, it's probably been very good. And with all this year, especially with all the co-eds that have come out, the switcheroos, Miss Extra used to put on a lot of tournaments that she wanted the girls to be involved, and there was a lot of girls in the OC community that they don't stream, so you don't really hear of them, but they came in to do these tournaments, and all of a sudden you're seeing all these girls in normal tournaments that aren't co-ed, and the community as a whole is really accepting of the females, and we're like I said, Warzone, it's not that toxic to females anymore. It's more so just some people might not think of you because you are a female, but honestly, for the most part, it's not really like that.
I suppose it's, yeah, I suppose that the biggest handicap might be just simply coming from another country, where people will say it's just hard to compete on 200 ping, I guess. And
yeah, I've definitely know that's a reason a lot of NA guys will not play with me, because like, oh, she's on ping. Even though I have proven that I can still play.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that still can be done. Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. I understand, you know, I play tournaments, and I'm hesitant on picking up guys from OC as well to play in the NA tournaments. But I still do, and I still give them that chance, and we can still keep up. But it's just some of those situations where, like, damn, like if we had good ping, like it would be fine. But
yeah, I mean, personally playing with friends, it can be rough at a few tricky, you know, close moments, but I can't imagine having, you know, things on the line, playing for money, playing for a prize.
yeah.
Having that pressure, and then having that one thing that you just can't help hold you back in a way sometimes.
The game is hard as it is, and very much luck based with a lot of stuff that happens. So just having that on top, the ping it's not ideal. It doesn't feel good.
No.
But we know that going into it.
Yeah. But it's always good having the community supporting you, and I've like been lurking and been around your chat more recently, and you have a lot of cool people that regularly come in, and a lot of the mods too are very just friendly, good to chat to. We'll say hello to you and interact with you if you say hello in chat, which is always a good sign.
I think that's super important, and you want your community to reflect yourself. You know, you don't want people to go, oh no, that person's got a toxic community. I couldn't think of anything worse. And obviously I'm hanging out with them, and they're hanging out with me every day, so we're going to be similar and like-minded people, which is probably one of the best things about streaming, is just having that community.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm not one of the ones who will go into the stream and like, hey, just play the game, or, you know, if you are doing a just chatting section, or if you're just interacting with the community, I find enjoyment out of that with when I go into a stream, talking to the streamer if they are not busy. And yeah, so I feel like if you go into a chat and the stream is busy and the mods or whoever's in the community don't say hello back to you, it's sort of like you feel invisible, and it's very off-putting, but it's nice when it goes the other way.
Yeah, it always makes me uncomfortable if I'm being a lurker myself and I see someone say something and it just goes ignored. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is horrible. I can't handle it.
You feel that sympathy because it's almost like imagine that happening in real life. Someone's going to shake your hand and then all of a sudden everyone just walks away or something.
No. I definitely make sure that someone's going to be there to greet you, and because you don't want anyone to feel left out. And if you feel left out, you're not going to come back. So it's just, I don't know, it's just streaming 101, I guess.
Yeah, and that's definitely something to keep in mind every time you go live, I guess. But have you ever considered I know there's a bit of drama recently about Twitch and YouTube and streaming platforms and what's better. Is that something that's come into your mind at all? Is it something you're looking at, or is it just if it happens?
Definitely. I always went into streaming on Twitch thinking that I would do multi-streams just to see which one is better. It just hasn't happened, of course, but I'm still looking at the possibility of doing a multi-stream or maybe streaming on YouTube or Facebook. I know a couple of Facebook streamers, and from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like something I would want to do. They seem very, very strict in what they require of you.
Okay.
It's not the flexibility you have on Twitch, but YouTube, it could be good. I would like to see them do better on their platform. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me how to find people who are live, and it just doesn't seem good enough yet, but I would definitely consider jumping ship potentially, or just doing both, a bit of both. We'll see how that goes. Twitch is hard because the community will generally stay on Twitch. A lot of people don't cross-platform, which is understandable because everyone's on Twitch and it's easy to use.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a big name like how like Tim or Swag or whatever, just go over. Their community will follow them because they want to watch them. But I feel like if you're kind of the middle range or a small guy, if you're not online, people will just scroll to the next streamer on Twitch because they're hanging out on that platform kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I find most people that hang out in streams, you've only really got a few that will be there every time you go live, and a lot of people will just they'll just pop in and out. They'll see you, go, oh, okay, I'll go say hello to Roads, and maybe I'll say hello to this person instead. It's a lot of just people that come and go. Obviously, you've got people that lurk and put you on in the background, but most viewers just tend to be the ones that dip in and out.
And that's fine too. We love them.
No, of course. But that just means you will lose those ones when you do go to a different platform, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be that those people don't find interest on Twitch anymore for it to be viable to be on YouTube, I feel like, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
But one of the other things I was going to ask you is I saw you had like a huge explosion in viewers the other day. Did you what's the biggest raid or the biggest host that you've had in your Twitch career?
I think, that's interesting. I know I've had a raid of like 200 to 300 a couple times, and it probably sounds bad, but I can't remember who it was. Of course, the other day I had noobs raid me, which was amazing, and I think that was 200 to 300 viewers. So, honestly, up there with probably the most viewers I've had come over, which is really amazing. I actually had quite a few raids from big streamers that day, which is really nice. The support.
It can be like a blur sometimes, so it's not surprising that you can forget things that happen. But as someone who's admittedly a bit of an introvert, how does that feel when like that big of an influx of people come in? Do you roll with it like no problem, or is it still a little bit jarring?
I think at this point it doesn't really make a difference for me. I remember my first raid and I had, I think, 20 viewers come over, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, I don't know how to play anymore. But so that was really, that was daunting. But luckily these days I'm like, cool, nice. And it doesn't feel any different, which is good, a good thing. You need to be used to people watching you. Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think you get used to it as it happens, because like similar, the first raid I had from someone was about 20 odd viewers, and I honestly felt that nervousness all of a sudden, and I was just like, I want to get offline. I want to sign off. This is too much. And I didn't know what to do. But yeah, as it happens more and more, you can become, it's more comfortable. So
yeah, definitely. And even I'll sometimes get up. I've had like up to 100 views naturally just being in a tournament. So a rate of 200, I feel it kind of felt the same, you know. It was amazing to have that many people in there, and for people to then stick around after a raid, I feel like that's the biggest thing that I aim for. You know, get a raid, you want to keep those viewers there potentially, and that feels better than anything, honestly. Just people that stick around and then come back.
it does,
Or even sub. Amazing.
Yeah. Do you have the viewer count on? Is that something you do? Because a lot of people will say, don't turn it off, don't even look at it, pretend it's not there.
I do. It doesn't really change what I do. I don't know. I think I just have a little obsession with numbers, I guess, and statistics. So I just like seeing it, and it's just interesting because sometimes I'm like, oh damn, like a lot of you guys are watching me, but it doesn't sway me like anyway. I just like having it, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people say don't even look at it and just pretend like there's a lot of people there, but yeah, I'm the same. I like to see. I want to see the number. I want to see what's going on. I don't change, but I just like to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting. It's maybe you're doing something right at that particular moment.
Yeah, and you don't know what, you know, if Twitch is recommending you on one of their, you know, small streamer, big streamer pages, you know, hype trains or whatever, give you things out there. But yeah, it can be confusing sometimes. Do you understand the way Twitch pushes out your stream, or like the algorithm of shorts and stuff like that? Is that something you concern yourself with, or is it just you put out whatever and you'll be whatever regardless?
With YouTube shorts, I've noticed if I upload at a certain time, then it generally will do well. There's been like a couple times where I'll post and I get no traction, so I'll just delete it and then I'll post it again at another time. Because I found, especially with YouTube Shorts, it will always push your video for a good, I'd say, hour, and then it just drops off. So I'll always aim to at least get that good hour. But as for Twitch, there's not really much of an algorithm there. It's just if you just sit higher on their list, if you got higher viewers, which is not really ideal, but obviously if your partner, they've got that new it's like, what is it, your viewers can pay to promote your stream,
something like weird
that. Yeah, give it to us.
Yeah,
the partners don't need this.
Let me pay my way to the top.
Yeah. But
is a Twitch partner thing something that interests you, or is it just like doesn't really?
Definitely. I mean, it legitimizes you for sure, but I guess it doesn't really give you much else. It's just having that tick next to your name. As long as I've got a community that I enjoy, then it doesn't matter if I get partner or not. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to have a livable wage on Twitch and streaming, which is more likely as a partner. But it's not my ultimate goal. Definitely not.
No. Okay, that's fine. Some people have that as a goal, which is fine too. I mean, it would be awesome to go into a chat and you have that little tick next to your name. It's like, you know, an authority. Yeah, I'm legit here. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't really add a whole lot. You can still be a very amazing person to watch without having that tick next to your name.
And well known. You know, there's a lot of people that are well known in the community that they're not partner, you know, but everyone still knows them. I think that's like one of the craziest things for me is I feel like I'm not very big, yet I've had people tag me on Twitter saying, you know, who's the best female Warzone player, and people that I don't know, and they've tagged me. I'm like, wow, I've made it.
That's really cool.
It's awesome, and it's mind blowing. You know, that people will talk about you and you don't know them. It's wild. It's a good feeling. It's wild.
It is. Do do you notice the people in your chat that you've never seen before on other platforms or in other chats will talk to you at all? Or is that like if you go into another chat, will you be like, anyone come up to you and be like, hey, I watched your stream the other day, or hey, I saw you in the tournament, that you've never seen before?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think even you, I went to someone's chat and you're like, oh, another Aussie. And I was like, yeah, but who are you?
Who are you? What are you talking to me? Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely happens, which is, yeah, strange. It is honestly strange. A lot of chats I go to now, well, someone will recognize me and say, hey, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice. Like, it's genuinely heartwarming.
No, it is. It's nice to be, someone recognizes you, they acknowledge you, and yeah, it's a nice feeling for sure.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
So plans for Warzone 2, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, try and win everything possible, and become reliant on tournament winnings, or all that kind of thing to sustain yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I would, at this point in time, I would like Twitch to be the income that I can rely on rather than tournaments, just because we can't rely on tournaments apparently. But the plan is still, I'm going to continue pushing content consistently and getting my name out there, more networking, just generally being better at being a streamer, because I have been lazy in the past, and I just want to be more consistent. I want people to open up Twitch and be like, Roadends is on. We're going to Roadends' channel. So that is the goal. That is the ultimate goal. Let's just hope the game's good.
Yes.
Step one.
If it's not good, do you think you would easily transition into other, shooters or whatever game you feel like would grab you, or is it like?
I'd like to think so.
Yep.
I feel like all the Warzone players that we have now, the ones that are always playing Warzone, they're gonna jump to a game that they like and is similar, and I feel like you'll see most of them migrate to the same one, so I would feel like I fit into whatever that game is as well. Like I said, I feel like I would. So
have you experimented much with other games like Overwatch, people playing Overwatch now, or Apex or anything like that? Or?
I played, I think, one game of Apex on console, to be fair. I didn't really enjoy it, but it's just, at the time, it just I wasn't interested because I was still so addicted to Warzone, so I didn't need to like it. I've definitely played lots of games over the years and, grinded them out. So it just depends on the type of game. I've always loved Call of Duty and I like the style. So if there's something similar to that, then I'll most likely like it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think it helps when like there's a whole bunch of other people playing a certain game, and you can easily jump over into there and play together, play against them, whatever.
Definitely, because as soon as you learn a game, it's very easy to get that little addiction going, where you're like, okay, I'm good at this now, so I'm gonna keep going. And that works for me anyway. If I'm even the slightest good at anything, I'll be like, yes, I will keep doing this.
That's cool. Yeah, now for me, if I suck at something and my friends are good at it, that's what motivates me. I'm like, no, you know what? I got to get better at this. I got to get better at them, kind of thing. Yeah.
It's better than just being, give up.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really hope you can take off in Warzone 2 and achieve all the goals that you can. It's been really nice to chat to you about this. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm very flattered that you wanted to have me on here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about myself, I guess. No, but I really hope that the podcast does really well for you and your streaming blows up as well, because it's not all about me.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.